All right, greetings. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is Conservative Move, broadcasting a live webinar, which is also going to be recorded this time and shared later. So whether you are joining us live or watching a pre-recorded session of it, welcome to Conservative Move, conservativemove.com. I'm here with my wife, Brenda, and she's going to introduce you here shortly to our Tennessee lead agent. Today's presentation will last approximately 1 hour, does not go over. We'll talk a little bit about the company, the work that we do. Our Tennessee lead agent will then provide a detailed presentation on the great state of Tennessee, and then we roll into Q&A. For those of you that have been with us before, welcome back. For those of you first time, welcome, glad to have you. We encourage you to keep checking our website for state webinars. We have a number of states listed. Tennessee, we continue to obviously hold these, I believe, monthly, if not quarterly or sooner. And just encourage y'all to keep checking back. So I want to welcome you to this webinar, no matter where you are. Many of you are in deep blue states, whether it's California, New York, Seattle, Oregon. Feel free to chime in and chat. Brenda's going to go over some of those tools with you here in a minute. But I always like to start off the conversation with the fact that we know many of you are looking to move or trying to move to a place to where you can feel you can live the American dream, where you can raise your kids, your family. You don't have to worry about a lot of this sort of nonsense and hate that is happening across this country to you, just based on your political or religious beliefs or whatever it may be. Times are a little different today in America, and if you look at your home state, you may have seen things change dramatically in recent years. Brenda and I moved out of the state of California almost 5 years ago to the state of Texas, which is where we're headquartered. We now work in 40 states with hundreds of agents in those 40 states, working with our clients to help them sell their homes in a blue state and buy a home in a red state. We have other services as well that our individual agents can speak with you about if that's something that does interest you. But about our personal story, Brenda and I were born and raised in Southern California. We're law enforcement, military background. I'm retired law enforcement, currently back in the Navy Reserves. Brenda runs Youth Anti-Drug Coalitions, keeping kids off drugs, former probation officer out in California. And now, our primary job is being parents. We have 4 kids, and our 4 kids were all born in California as well. And if you look at that state as just one example, and you can compare it to yours if you're in another state. But California was a red state. It was the state of Nixon, the state of Reagan. It had some of the best schools, some of the best jobs, some of the best tough on crime laws, 3 strikes and others. And if you look what's happened since Democrats have taken control, it's really a downturn. Not only there, but in many blue states. Look at the crime stats today, whether it's New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco. Crime is on the rise in those states. And if you have kids, you're a mom or a dad, you worry about the safety. And then you look at the schools. We learned this week that in California, they're still requiring next school year that children are masked, whether vaccinated or not. I can't wrap my head around that concept. But anyway, that is sort of this very, I think, discouraging failure in leadership that we're seeing. And so we welcome you here to Conservative Move. As a family-run business, when we moved to Texas, we did it as an escape. You got to fight where you got a fighting chance. And our kids are thriving here. They're going to thrive in these red states. You just look at the difference. It's pretty remarkable. But when we moved to Texas, we were not even thinking about Conservative Move, right? This wasn't even a company then. It wasn't until after we moved here that we realized so many people had made the move for the same reasons that we did. And from that, we then created this company. And it's been a blessing. We've been on Fox News, Fox Business, Newsmax, across the world. We've had Japanese and Australian and other news networks come here to look at this phenomenon of families leaving blue states for red. And the numbers are big. If you look at the price of renting a U-Haul coming out of a blue state to red, it's much more than trying to move from a red to a blue. A lot of these blue states are losing congressional seats because the populations are changing positively towards these red states. So a lot of great things are happening, but I always encourage our clients, our friends, all of you included, that when you make that move to a red state, please get engaged, share your story about why you came there. and what's important to you, to help educate those around you that, America, we are still one of the youngest nations on the face of this earth. And nations do come and go. And we're at that teetering point right now where we're literally just a generation away from extinction, as Reagan would say. And so we believe that these red states represent the American values and can really cause a resurgence of American patriotism across this country. So please, where you move to, get engaged. We need you and America needs you. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Brenda.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for our Tennessee webinar. For those of you that are live, if you have a question during the presentation that Chris is going to give, feel free to look at the buttons down below, at least mine are down below, the Q&A button or the chat button. And you can click those and type in questions. And then when Chris is done with his presentation, either Chris or Paul or I will be happy to answer your questions for you. And then when the webinar is over with, there'll be a few questions. If you would please fill those questions out, even if we have your information in the system, it just helps us to get a better idea or grasp on what you're looking to do. Even if it isn't Tennessee, if you just kind of went on Tennessee and you said, oh, it's not for me, or it is for me, just let us know that, and that helps us keep track of how we can best serve you.
Yeah, one thing I left out, and I think it's really important, this is an emotional process, and this will be for most of you. And I say that because, there is excitement about going somewhere where the grass truly is greener on the other side. But if you've been born and raised in the state that you're now looking to leave, or you spent most of your life there, you're going to have these memories, and you're going to grapple with those as you decide where to go. And I want to say that I think that's completely normal. All of our clients, we deal with that. You might have been married in your state, gone to college, held your first job. Obviously, our kids were born there. So you have these great memories, and you're going to sort of have this tug of war of emotion. And we just want you to know that from our experience, that's normal. And it's because you're a human being and you have a good heart. And so as long as you're aware that that's going to happen, don't feel like you're alone or there's something wrong with you. It's a process of grieving, of leaving a place that is really a shell of its former self. And so, with that, just trust in the fact that there are amazing places to go. And obviously this one is for Tennessee. And what a great state it is. I had a chance to serve there in the military for a little bit and tour the state. We got a great lead agent, Chris. Brenda will do an introduction for Chris here next.
All right. Yes. So Chris Sanders is our lead Tennessee agent. He's been amazing. Chris, I never get tired of your presentations. They're always funny, and I just want to turn it over to you, and they provide a lot of great information. So with that being said, Chris Sanders, the floor is yours.
Hello, hello, hello. And let's see, I'm trying to get the video. I'm sorry. Let's see.
That's okay, Chris. We can see your name so far. So
okay, there we go. Okay.
Bottom left.
Anyway, I absolutely appreciate everybody coming in and taking their time today to listen to me talk about Tennessee, which I never get tired of talking about. Just like Paul and Brenda said, this with everything that's happening in the world today, especially our country, Tennessee is kind of becoming a center of conservatives. And so we're getting a ton of people leaving the blue states in droves, it seems like. So, which is a good thing. That's fine with me. I guess what's the word I'm looking for? I'm pretty vocal. So sometimes a little too vocal, according to my wife, but that's par for the course. But so just kind of get into this a little bit. This picture right here that you're seeing, I hope everybody can see it, is that's actually Old Hickory Lake, which is just northeast of Nashville. So that's right in my backyard. Not literally, but I'm very close to the lake from where we are. So Hendersonville is one of a few cities that have lakes where they border up to the lake. A little bit about me. So born in Memphis, Tennessee, actually from this state. I'm kind of a unicorn right now. I've lived in Hendersonville since '99, and I absolutely love it. It's just been a great place for, you know, a lot of activities for families, kids, all of it. And, you know, a lot of outdoor stuff here too, with the lake, parks, that kind of thing. I'm not just partial to Hendersonville, just so you know. I've actually covered the entire state, as far as helping people find houses. We do have some affiliate agents that I'll get into a little bit later that are helping me out in remote areas like the Knoxville area, the East Tennessee area, which we're getting more and more hits on, especially from the Northeast people who are leaving that area. I'm a licensed agent for Cry-Like Realtors. So we are #1 in the Mid-South and #3 in the US. So that's kind of a nice little thing. And let's see, sorry, I'm trying to see if I can actually turn that video on again. Let's try that. There we go. Sorry. Yeah. Our, the being out in Tennessee, you know, our Wi-Fi and everything like that is a little slow because, you know, we're way out here. Just kidding. We have Wi-Fi, we have everything else. So we all actually have all our teeth too. So that's a good thing. And so yeah, it's a good time. So I've actually coached middle school, youth football, and flag football for 14 years. Love doing that, meeting new families, meeting kids, being part of helping those kids grow, that kind of thing. Married with 3 kids / adults, because I think, you know, they're in that weird, you know, mid-20s age, I guess. Anyway, that's another story. I'll be honest, not a fan of Democrats or their policies. Yeah, and that's okay to say. Yeah, after watching everything for the past few years, it's pretty obvious that we all kind of, if you're here, there's a reason watching this. So we all know. Huge history buff. That includes all history. Bad, good, doesn't matter. It just makes up our nation and who we are. Let's see, why Tennessee? And I apologize for some of this. It got, when we transfer the file over, sometimes it gets a little jumbled. So apologies for that. If you want a copy of this, I can actually send you a copy too as well. I think Brenda has a copy of it as well too that she can send you if you guys want it. So why would you want to pack your family up and come all the way out here? You're leaving the beach, you're leaving the beautiful, you know, sandy areas and nice 70 degrees, 24/7, nice breeze, and come all the way out here. Well, we got some pretty good things out here, especially in the state of things, no pun intended. No income tax, that's a good start. So if you don't like giving the government a whole lot of your money, well, you know, we have other taxes, but we don't have an income tax, which I like. We don't have any Democrats running or ruining this state. And that's a true statement. Let's see. We are very business friendly. Yes, we are. We have a lot of companies that are leaving blue states in droves, and they continue to do so. And we will take them because I think they understand that, you know, states like this, we have some good things going for us. We're not trying to tax everybody to death, and companies and that kind of thing, and regulations and all this other insanity. So yeah, it's a nice thing to have. CEOs named Texas. So they have a big convention for the CEOs. And so they rank Texas, Florida, and Tennessee as the top 3 states for doing business. That's pretty good. That's not bad at all. I'll take that. And if that's a bad thing, well, then I don't know what to tell you. So comparatively low property taxes. That's that Southern drawl that's trying to creep out. So yeah, we do have relatively low property taxes, and compared to where you are, I've had several people say, I had one guy who was paying, you know, up to $30,000 a year in property taxes in California. And, you know, we're hitting around anywhere from $1,000 a year to up to $4,000 a year, maybe even $5,000 a year. So that's a nice thing to have too. This is a right to work state. So we don't have a lot of unions here, which it seems to be working pretty good for us. Basically a right to work state means that Company can fire you basically for any reason they want. If you don't do your job, guess what? You get fired. You don't get to go, and get with the union and that kind of thing. No, we give you a chance to live out here. We give you the freedom to do what you want, but you always also have the freedom to make mistakes. So, but you pay the consequences in some cases. That's how it works. Ranked consistently as one of the top 10 conservative states to live in. Yes, it is. And we are planning to keep it that way as much as we can. So I like to have fun, and it's a joke, but at the same time, it's kind of serious because, I can't imagine living under these two rules, under these states. So yeah, it's always fun to hear people try to defend these guys, and I don't buy it. But anyway, that's just a little humor for the day. So you can take that with you for the rest of the day if you want. You guys know more about it than I do, living under these guys. If you're from New York or California, you know these guys very well. So we'll jump from that over to, this is actually Franklin, Tennessee. I want to give you some pictures of just some of the most asked about areas that I've gotten from people from Conservative Move who are trying to come here, just to kind of give them an idea of what it's like. Of course, you've got Google Earth and everything like that, and do your own research that way, but just some real quick snapshots. Franklin, Tennessee is probably by far one of the most asked about places in Tennessee. It's south of Nashville. They've done a great job keeping like an old southern town with the town square, that kind of thing, but then keeping it modern at the same time. So it's got a lot of charm down there. A lot of people seem to like. Franklin also has it's a kind of a tight-knit community, so you can walk to things. The neighborhoods are fairly tight. They don't have the new neighborhoods new neighborhoods that are going in down there don't have really big lots and yards, which we had a lot of California developers come in, and they took that model from there and starting to put it over here. So some people like that. This again is Old Hickory Lake. Just kind of give you an idea. We do have several lakes. Not all lakes allow for private docks. So you have to check into the rules and regulations for each lake and each lot if you're interested in getting land or waterfront property. That's something you keep in mind. So the Army Corps of Engineers on a lot of lakes don't allow for massive amounts of private docks and development, just so you know. So Old Hickory Lake is one of those that you can put a private dock on, but you have to apply if there's not already one there. But jump over to Chattanooga. This is actually Lookout Mountain, another Civil War historical site over here. And we have a lot of, if you like history, we have a ton of it here. So just like every other state, but we have our own. Chattanooga is beautiful. You can see the river going through there, kind of winding through. That's the main city behind that big cannon there. So, but yeah, it's beautiful. If you ever get a chance to go down there. This is also Chattanooga. We do have some steamboats that are still in operation. I know the one in Nashville here, around Nashville. It's like $120 a person, but you get like dinner, it's like a live show, that kind of thing, live music, concert. It's pretty fun. It's pretty good time. So it's just a lot of different things that you're probably not used to from where you are if you've never been to this state. We have a lot of waterfalls. This is actually Fall Creek Falls. Just a little bit east. Well, actually, it's about an hour and a half east of Nashville. Nashville Sounds, which is a minor league team. You see Nashville in the background. Of course, that skyline is changing constantly because, we still have cheap dirt here to build on. And again, it goes back to the no income tax and low corporate taxes. That's kind of a nice thing for companies. But we have some nice entertainment. Of course, you've got all the concerts and stuff like that, venues. If you like country music, well, you'll love it here. But we have other music too. A lot of other concerts coming in. Just giving you different shots of what's available. They have condos downtown if you're interested in that. Beautiful high-rise areas down there that they're working on. So a lot of development still going on in Nashville. This is Knoxville. That big ball was left over from the World's Fair when they had it there. Knoxville is beautiful. It's just northeast of Chattanooga, just almost straight up north from Chattanooga. But University of Tennessee is there. That's the biggest college we pretty much got in the state, University of Tennessee. And one of the bigger employers that's there in Knoxville as well. And this is where I am, which I wish I was actually there, but that's the Smoky Mountains. So if you go see the Smoky Mountains, just a little bit of a warning. If you go in the fall, you see how the leaves are changing. So that's where all the people from the Northeast come down, and then a lot of other people too. They like to go to that area. Whoop, sorry. We'll get to that next. They like to go to this area whenever the leaves change. And so there are thousands of people that go there and just explore and that kind of thing just to see the leaves change. So it's a kind of confined area. So if you go, maybe go in the off season or go real early whenever the leaves start to change, just to kind of avoid the mass amount of people over there during that time. So yes, that guy actually won this state, and we'll take him. So you can see down here, underneath there it says Tennessee presidential results. The only reason I give you this is because this actually is a pretty good site to show you how each county voted. So if you're concerned about that, or you want to know how each county voted, you can come to this site for Politico. Just go politico.com 2020 election, and it'll give you the results for each one. Those percentages. A lot of people look at these percentages, the differences, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, that was a nice one. We pretty much kicked his butt, and that felt great. Let's see. And again, apologies for the jumbledness here. Most asked about cities. I want to kind of give you an idea of the cities that I'm getting more questions on than anything. And also giving the population of each city as of 2019 next to each one of them. So the biggest one obviously is going to be Knoxville over there. And again, well, Nashville is the biggest city we have. But the most asked about cities I'm getting questioned about. This kind of give you an idea how big these cities are. So out of this group, Knoxville being the biggest, Chattanooga second, Clarksville's third, and then on down from there. But in terms of Middle Tennessee, near Nashville, I would probably rank them as Hendersonville, Franklin, Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Gallatin. Those would probably be the top ones around Nashville. And again, if you're taking notes, it's just Hendersonville, Franklin, Mount Juliet, Lebanon, Gallatin. And then Clarksville is kind of an interesting surprise because of their house prices. Their house pricing is pretty ridiculous considering we are in an extremely hot market here. But comparatively, Clarksville has some pretty good pricing right now. And they're about 45 minutes northwest of Nashville. And it's a college town. It's a military town, Clarksville is. Fort Campbell, excuse me, 101st Airborne is up there. So just to kind of give you an idea here real quick of where things, kind of the hot spots are. Again, we go back to the more asked about cities around Nashville that I'm getting. So the ones in yellow are pretty much the hottest ones. And then the green would be secondary ones. This Murfreesboro one, though, however, down on the bottom right, is starting to get a whole lot of attention, because what's happening is the development that went from Nashville out, these cities that are like Franklin, Mount Juliet, Hendersonville, they're getting a lot of development. But now the edge of that development is starting to hit Murfreesboro, Ashland City, White House at the top. And let's probably say a little bit of Pleasant View over there. But yeah, they just kind of give you an idea. Yellow are the hottest spots, and then green would be secondaries. But Murfreesboro and Clarksville are kind of like the sleeper little diamonds in the rough, if you will. You know, they're far enough away from Nashville for some people, but then kind of they're their own little islands, if you will. They have everything you need, shopping, that kind of thing. But you can still get to Nashville in about, like I said, 30, 45 minutes. So if you want to go to the events and that kind of thing. Let's jump over to East Tennessee. And these are the hot areas over there that we're getting a lot of hits on. We talked about affiliate agents a little bit. And so right now I have affiliate agent for the Knoxville area and the Johnson City area, and then one in Chattanooga. So if you're interested in going to see any of these, basically I can get you set up with any of them, and they'll take it from there. They're extremely good. They're from that area. They're great resources for those areas over there. I've actually closed on a house myself over in Maryville. So again, I still cover the entire state if worse comes to worse, and you know, we need somebody, you need somebody there. I can definitely help. I drive everywhere, so it doesn't matter. But we have very good people in those areas to help you out. So just kind of give you an idea. Johnson City up here in that top right corner, that is starting to get a lot more interest for people going to the east side of Tennessee. Maryville is another hot one. Dandridge, which is east of Knoxville there. Seymour and Sevierville, just south of Knoxville. Those two are getting a lot of hits too. So just so you know, but you can see all the lakes that are around here too. So they've got lakes over there as well. Some of those allow private docks, some do not. So just kind of give you an idea. And it's a lot more mountainous over there. So, you know, had a lot of people say, well, we're actually looking for flatland, but we're having trouble finding it over there. So it's a hit or miss, you know, it's just preference. It's all preference. I just want to give you a real quick idea on, so Sumner County, just so you know, the counties, you can look them up too, but so Nashville is Davidson County. Franklin is Williamson County. I live in Sumner County, which is Hendersonville, White House, Gallatin. Lebanon is, and Portland is also in Sumner County. So yeah, all these right here, you see right here, those are the main cities in Sumner. Lebanon is Wilson County, along with Mount Juliet. That is also Wilson County. These are the only reason I mention this, because again, these are the hottest areas that people are asking about. But to give you an idea what's happening in Sumner County in my backyard, you can see here is kind of some of the numbers. You know, average sales price was $355,025. So main thing I look at too is this in the middle at the top there of this chart. The average price per square foot is hitting around 156 a square foot. That's pretty good. If you get into Franklin, there's a big difference between if you took the same house and put it in Hendersonville, excuse me, and moved it to Franklin, it jumps up by between anywhere from $50,000 to $100,000 more because of the demand. There's a great demand down that way for whatever reason. But Franklin doesn't have lakes. So we kind of like the fact that we're able to keep this pricing right now, how we've got it, and have a lake that's real close to everything. So for us up here. But just kind of give you an idea real quick of what's happening right now. Inventory is pretty, it's not super low, but it could be better, put it that way. So we're, that's the biggest challenge right now, is keeping up with the pace, is getting more houses for sale. We have a lot of new builds in Sumner County, Williamson County. Well, I'd probably say Sumner, Wilson, and Rutherford. So that would be Hendersonville, Lebanon, Mount Juliet area, and Murfreesboro and Clarksville. Those places are having the most development going on right now. And so it's those, and the prices are still pretty good compared to, like, the closer you get to Nashville, the prices do this. So, and to kind of give you a quick idea, just some real quick snapshots of what's happening in these areas we're talking about in Middle Tennessee. I pulled these up today. So I actually did these searches today, and you can see in Clarksville where we're at. You know, this house was built in 2015 at the top, pretty decent size. Decent size lots too. That's the other thing. You know, here in Tennessee, we like our space. We don't like everything tight together. We're used to driving to places. So, you know, when we say, oh, it's just 20, 30 minutes down the road, that's no big deal to us, to get to the grocery store or something like that. So I hear that a lot from Californians that, you know, well, it seems like everything's far away. I guess that's perspective. You know, we being from here, it'd be the same thing in California. To me, it would just be, I would have the opposite problem. I would want to be getting away from that, but that's just me. So, but just kind of give you an idea, much slower pace here. We'll get into that too a little bit. So just keep that in mind. But this is Clarksville. You know, again, decent sized homes, fairly new. They're not very old, 2015, 2016. And so it kind of, we're just showing you, here's a new build at the bottom down here. So that's going to be completed in August. And it's at 298, which is 166 a square foot. The top one is at 134 square feet. If you can see up there by the price, you know, that's insane to us because, you know, that's pretty freaking good. And so again, brand new home for under 300. And in this day and age, that's as crazy as it sounds. That's pretty good. We'll jump down over here to Franklin. These are both in Franklin. As you can see, I couldn't find a whole lot for sale in Franklin, to be honest. So a lot of their homes are already what we call under contract. When you come here, I think you guys call it escrow in California and maybe New York, but we say basically it's under contract. And so what that means is you'll see up here, you know, the top one that says 450,000 off market. And then you look straight across to the right, it says status under contract, not showing. So they're not showing this anymore because they've got a contract. They've accepted one. The bottom one down there, just showing you some ranges here. You know, Franklin's got some, it jumps pretty much, I think it starts that I could find was like $399, was about the lowest I could find at the time. And so again, just giving you some ideas of what these are going for. I always look at the square footage. You can see the price per square feet on both these has gone up significantly, you know, compared to what we had in Hendersonville and Clarksville. So just kind of giving you an idea real quick. I know it's a lot of blurriness. I don't want to go through this too fast, but it's a lot of information to absorb, and I get it. So here we are in Gallatin, which is up by Hendersonville. You can see the price per square foot at the top one, 175. That's a little high for this area, but again, you know, we'll see how they do with that. The bottom one is also in Gallatin. This is in, if you look to the bottom right, this little chart area, it says subdivision, Fairview Plantation. That's probably one of the more exclusive neighborhoods up here. And it borders the lake. So that's why that area is really prime location for a lot of people. So that drives the price up and that kind of thing. Jump into Hendersonville, which is where I'm at. Found some that were starting at 375 right now, you know, 170. That's still in the ballpark for this area. Again, we're a lake community, which does add value to a lot of things. So that's kind of nice. Let's see in the bottom one down here. That to me is probably a little high, 201 square feet for a 2005 home. So, but again, just giving you, and it's, you know, 2015 square feet. The top one's 2,200 square feet. So just they're nice homes, but you know, what we're having is the same issue that some of the other states are having, where people are coming in. They've sold their home in California that was 1,500 square feet for $1.2 million. And they come here and they are wanting to get a home quick. And so they're paying, some of them are paying over asking price. Some of them are doing no inspections, no appraisals, just to get the home. I do not suggest any of that. So, but this is, some of the areas are experiencing this, what I just described. So just keep that in mind as well. Hendersonville again, the bottom one up to 739. We've got some, they've got some really upper, priced homes. We got middle of the road homes. We got some lower priced homes. So we have a pretty good range here. Just to kind of give you an idea. And this is a newer home down here at the bottom. That was built in 2020. Jump over to Murfreesboro. This is down south of Nashville, bottom corner, about 30, 40 minutes away from Nashville. But you can see where these are starting. And that top one, again, 235 a square foot, a little high for that area. The bottom one actually is newer, and this price per square foot is 152. So, but that one's also under contract. So you can see the top one is still for sale, and this one is under contract. So that's a pretty good deal at the bottom. Also, this is in Murfreesboro. So just showing you ranges on pricing and what's available. These are large homes. To me, it's decent size homes at 2,800 square feet at the top, 2,700 square feet at the bottom. These are older homes, 2014 at the bottom, 2005 at the top. But again, you can see that price per square foot at the top too, 425 is at 151. So that's pretty decent. That's not bad. That's not a bad deal. The other one down here at the bottom, a little bit high, but yeah, it'll probably sell for close to that, I would imagine. This is over in Lebanon and Mount Juliet areas. So Wilson County, just kind of giving you an idea on the range, what's available. The bottom one is a brand new home. It's going to be completed in October. You're looking at almost 3,000 square feet. Portland, which is north of Nashville, giving you some ideas on ranges here. 257 starting. We do have those homes available. Not everybody can do the 500 and up or 300 and up. So there are some areas that, very affordable for a lot of people. So it's just want to kind of give you an idea what's available for around those areas. White House, Tennessee, which is north of Nashville as well. Top one starting at 305, bottom at 329. So I don't want to take too much more time on this, but you get the idea. White House again, 471. That's a brand new home. And the one down below is a year old at 525. So almost 3,000 square feet. So didn't mean to fly through all that, but again, there's a lot of information. I'm trying to get you guys as much as I can here real quick. If you're wanting to rent, yes, I'm getting a lot more people who are wanting to rent first and see if the market calms down or there may not be anything available that they're looking for. And so I'm currently in an apartment waiting for our house to be built. And so we are in a 2-bedroom apartment in Hendersonville, 2 beds, 2 baths for $1,347 a month. Rent is going up like everything else. The farther you go out from Nashville, the better the rent costs are. But availability is kind of a trick. Some people are doing Airbnbs when they come here, just to kind of do that short-term rental for a while until they're able to find something. So just keep these in mind. Just kind of giving you ideas over here. This is the average rental costs right now in Hendersonville. That's probably pretty close. 1196. Nashville is actually a little bit higher than that 1420. But you can see, Clarksville, you're at 910. Gallatin, 1188. They've actually got some over in Gallatin that are around the 900 mark for apartments over there and some homes. So at the bottom, median home value of the state in Tennessee is around 192,630. That's for the whole state. That's the median. But I think that's actually a little bit higher right now. Another question we get is the second one down here at the bottom. Over the past year, values of homes in Tennessee have increased by 7.5. I think it's like 8.5 right now. So, values are going up because of demand. Demand is driving all of this. So, Tennessee sales tax. Yes, we do have a sales tax. We do not have an income tax. We have a sales tax. And so I'll take the sales tax over an income tax any day because I can control the sales tax a little bit more because of what I buy. So I have no problem doing that. So it's actually, when you add it all together, it's about 9.3 or 9.5% for sales tax. Some states have income tax and sales tax. So again, I'll take it. That's not a bad setup. The other tax rates in Tennessee, you've got a Tennessee property tax of about 0.74% of a home's market value. We have one of the lowest in the country. So, everything goes up eventually. I'm sure property taxes in 10 years are going to be higher, but we're still going to be lower, in my opinion, than say California or New York. I think that'll be the case no matter what. We do this Tennessee professional privilege tax. If you're a doctor, architect, dentist, engineer, any of these professions here, they did have a privilege tax of $400. I think that's going away this year. So that'll be gone. So that's a nice thing. We do have a gas tax, but I think California's got everybody beat. So we're about $2.79 a gallon right now, which is astronomical for us, because right before this dude took whatever office it is that right before he took over, we were at 185. It's gone up almost a whole dollar since Mr. Mann took over. So thank you for that. Top industries in Tennessee. Education is one. We have some agricultural, food production. This is just a real small, obviously microcosm of overview of what we've got. Some of the bigger companies we've got here is Jack Daniels. The J.C. Ford company is interesting. We just got them this year, and they're from California. They do automated tortilla manufacturing. So they make tortilla, Mexican little tortillas. So yeah, it's pretty cool. So that's another one to add to the mix. We have General Mills, Pure Foods. Healthcare is a big one here in Tennessee and becoming a bigger one. HCA is kind of like California's Kaiser. Your insurance over there, or their medical industry, I should say, over there, medical company. We have Community Healthcare, Fresenius Medical, Pronova. Manufacturing, we got Nissan, Volkswagen, Mitsubishi just came over here. Beretta Firearms is in Gallatin, about 15 minutes from me. They moved down from the Northeast. Troy Industries is another gun manufacturer. They got out of the Northeast. We have Wonder Porcelain. We have a porcelain plant in Lebanon, huge plant over there. Because we have a lot of rock in Tennessee. We have a lot of limestone, that kind of thing in Middle Tennessee. So they set up shop there. We're starting to get these tech companies, which, take it or leave it, however you want to do it. But we just acquired like a Yoshi, and then apparently Oracle is going in Nashville, Davidson County, which that's fine. They can stay in Davidson County. So, but yeah, big ones we're getting there. And then distribution centers, we got Amazon, Under Armour. There was another one. We got Rooms to Go. That's a massive distribution center right south of Lebanon. And then tourism, of course. Should I go visit Tennessee before buying? Yes, absolutely, if you can do it. If you can't, I understand. I've done FaceTime, showings, that kind of thing with people in California who can't be here. We've had to do it all remote. It happens. But if you are able to come here, kind of the breakdown real quick. People come here for about 3 to 5 days. I usually try to recommend they go explore their own for like the first day. The second day, we'll get together, meet at my office at 10 o'clock in the morning and kind of discuss what they saw, pick out some homes or neighborhoods first and just go see the neighborhoods. And then we just kind of start narrowing it down. If we want to see homes, like I said, we try to do like that middle of the 3 to 5 days to actually go see houses. Some houses require a 24-hour notice. So the quicker we can get a request in to see the homes, it just makes the whole thing smoother and quicker. And at the end of the visit, we regroup, and some people have to make multiple trips back here because they're wanting to see other areas and they just can't fit everything into those 3 to 5 days. So hope that gives you a real quick idea on that. If you're making an offer in a hot market, which we have several areas that are hot markets. And so what I mean by that is demand is huge just from the people who are moving in those areas. Franklin, Mount Juliet, Hendersonville, the areas we kind of talked about. Even Knoxville is having the same issues. So first thing you want to do, if you're getting a loan, get it pre-approved with the lender. I suggest doing a local lender if you can. If not, no big deal. But lenders in California and New York seem to do things a little different. So it actually slowed down the process for some of my closings. And so just keep that in mind. I have a list of lenders I can send to you if you want them. See, government loans, that's FHA, VA, THDA, which is a Tennessee government loan, and then USDA. Any government loans can take longer. They have their own stipulations. They have their own inspections you have to deal with and that kind of thing. So let's see. Be prepared to possibly go over asking price. Number 3, yes, that's a possibility. It's not every place, but it is a possibility where you may have to get into a bidding war. You don't want to get a bidding war if you don't have to, but if you do, it happens sometimes. We'll deal with that, when we get to that. So number 4, inventory may be limited. Yes, in some areas it is limited. It's kind of across the state. We've just got everybody and their mother trying to come here. So, which is fine. We've got lots of land and lots of houses. So, but it's keeping up with the pace. And in some areas, not every area. I keep emphasizing that. Number 5, the more you ask the seller for, the more potential for your offer to be put back. What I mean by that is the more you ask the seller to pay for. So you say, I want you to pay for my closing costs. I want you to pay for, $10,000 worth of repairs, that kind of thing. Well, excuse me. If they get other offers that are just cash offers with none of those contingencies where they're asking the seller to pay for anything, they most likely will take those. Not every case, but just keep that in mind. The more you ask the seller for, the more you're putting a burden on that offer, if you will. Number 6, cash is great, but you may not be the only one with cash. Yes, that's very true. We have a lot of Californians, like I said, that just sold their small house for a lot of money, and everybody seems to have cash. So, and then the number 7, home sale contingencies. If you have a home to sell in California, that can be something you just need to keep in mind. Some of these other offers, they may not care. They may not have, they've already sold their home, that kind of thing. So the seller has to wait for you to sell your home. So just keep that. And the seller is trying to buy a home. So there's this domino effect that can happen. So just keep that in mind. There are some online services. I think Ribbon is one where they will actually, I think they'll buy your home. And I think I don't know if they lease it back to you or not. I haven't had anybody actually use Ribbon, but it's basically a way to take the home sale contingency. If you have to sell your home, it takes that off the offer because Ribbon will buy the home to free you up to go buy the house here in Tennessee, if that makes sense. So that's just one of the services the Ribbon offers, and companies like that. Popular questions. Okay, tornadoes. Yes, we have tornadoes. Tennessee is a tornado state. There's no way in the world to tell you where any tornado is going to hit. It's not like, earthquakes. It's where we know where the cracks are, and stay away from the cracks. Nope. Up there in the air, it does a lot of weird things sometimes. So, but yes, we deal with it. It's a way of life. It's something you have to deal with out here. Not a way of life. It's just something you have to deal with. Some people get storm shelters put in the garage or underneath the ground. And so a lot of people do that. I usually go out and take videos of the storm so I can get yelled at by my wife. Humidity. It's humid today because it rained yesterday or rained this morning, and then the sun came out about 90 degrees, and it creates a sauna out there. So I've had it as high as 94% humidity. So it can get humid here. We get a lot of rain here, and we don't get the nice Seattle rain where it's misty. No, we get dumped on, and it's like big storms that come through. So bugs and wildlife, we can go on for days on that. But yes, we have those. I've been asked that a lot of questions about that. So down at the bottom, you can kind of see some of the less fun critters. Lightning bugs are actually nice. If you want to know about those, let me know. They don't bite. They just light up and they land on you, and it's okay. So anyway, hope I didn't fly through that too much. I know we're getting probably close. So back to this much slower pace. That looks real nice. And I know you guys get places like that in California and even New York and Washington, the beautiful states. But it's a much slower pace here. And I try to drive because I always tell people, this is not California. It's not New York. It's not Washington. This is Tennessee. It has its own vibe. It has its own personality, just like your state has its own personality. So just keep that in mind when you come here. That's the biggest trick. So I appreciate everybody's time though, and hope to get you out here very soon.
Thank you, Chris. That was great, John.
Yeah, Chris, thanks so much. As always, very thorough. So if there's questions that anybody else like to chime in, please go ahead and put those in the chat box. Always, you can reach out to Chris directly, and I believe Brendan's going to push that out to you in chat to everybody as well. Look, Chris covered it all. He's done this a number of times, so he's anticipated a lot of the questions and has answered them, but there's always something new. So Chris, one question here is, how do you describe Nashville right now? A lot of folks kind of see it as a blue dot within a red sea. How would you describe that?
Nashville is like any other urban center where you do have pockets of red, but the majority of it is very blue. It's just what it is. Nashville's always been a Democrat city for the most part. They've always had a Democrat mayor. It's where, us living outside of that, out here in the red zones, I guess, if you will, we go to Nashville. We don't go there a lot, but they have the restaurants, they have all the sporting events, they have all the fun stuff you want to go visit and then come back out. That's basically how we treat it here. But yes, it's a pretty solid blue area here in Tennessee.
Got it. Well, thanks so much. I know we're coming up here on the hour shortly. And then Chris, how would you describe to anybody who'd like to come visit? I know you talked a little bit about that, but if there's folks here saying, look, we'd like to fly in, we don't quite know where to go, but maybe we'll start somewhere just to get a good feel of Tennessee. Obviously, this webinar is helpful, but if they want to come in and get a good feel for it, how would that look, and how many days would you recommend, and where should they start?
I'd go back to that 3 to 5 day rule if you can. If you can stay longer, that's great. It just depends on what you're wanting to do. If you're focused on the Middle Tennessee area or Knoxville, I would spend 3 to 5 days on each area if you can, because I've had it happen where it becomes, I guess the word is, there's so much to look at that people just kind of get stuck in this wheel going back and forth and they can't decide. So it always helps if you can just focus on one area, spend the time here and really get a sense of it in the Middle Tennessee, then go to Knoxville, do the same thing. if that's what you're wanting to do. But yeah, I would stick to that 3 to 5 rule, 3 to 5 day rule if you can. And like I said, explore the first day on your own. Just get on Google Maps and just start driving around areas around the like Williamson County, Franklin area, the lake areas. Those are always nice. Hendersonville, Mount Juliet. Just try to do it that way. And then the second day, I meet with you. That's pretty much the best way that's really worked out. Is I regroup with everybody on the second day.
Yeah, I think that's important. You know, we usually tell clients, you know, come in, but get lost, right? Like, grab a minivan and just drive around. That's what we did. You got to get a feel for the area, and you don't know what you don't know. So once you get lost, you see things, then you kind of come back, meet with the agent, kind of look at a map or talk geographically about areas to further explore. Then you kind of begin to dig in, right? Then you begin to kind of pick the regions that most interest you. Then you explore those, and you get to the finite questions about, you know, schools in those area or distance to potential work. And that really seems to be probably the best equation to make that happen. So Chris is always available with him and his team agents throughout the state of Tennessee. They're very busy, as you can tell. It's in our top 3 of most popular states that conservatives are moving to. And they're not just moving from the East Coast to Tennessee, they're moving from the West Coast to Tennessee as well. It's a beautiful state, great red state. Marsha Blackburn, your senator there, is awesome. I know her well. She's phenomenal to follow on Facebook, and just a real encouragement for activity, for talking about good family values. So with that, we're coming up on the hour. I want to again thank everybody for joining us live, and for those of you that are joining, watching the recorded session, thank you so much. Please keep in contact with us. Monitor conservativemove.com for additional updates, and also go there to sign up. That way you can get in touch with us, our staff, and we can connect you directly with our lead agents like here in Tennessee. God bless you all. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of your evening. Thanks, Chris. Thanks,
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.